Tonight, Ohioans and millions of Americans nationwide making their voices heard and awaiting results.
The Associated Press calling both Issue 1 and Issue 2 tonight. Both are passing right now with around 56% of the vote.
There's also Columbus's mayoral race and some pretty big levies on the ballot from districts like Columbus and Dublin. Tonight, Fox 28, your election headquarters, bringing you live team coverage of all the races impacting you.
Lisa Rontal is covering the CCS levy. Isabel Hansen with the race between incumbent Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther and Joe Motil, and Kate Seifert on Issue 2.
And we'll start with Tom Bosco, who's following Issue 1. Tom, the Associated Press calling this one in favor of the yes.
Yes, and that has made for a lot of happy people here at the Hyatt where the Issue 1 supporters have gathered, and now they see Ohio added to the list, the 7th state now that has put the abortion question before its voters. Now all 7 out of 7 have affirmed the right to have an abortion in their state, Ohio being one of them. Folks here very excited about that, and very excited that this will mean the end of the so-called heartbeat bill that was already in court being discussed and debated. The heartbeat bill, of course, one of the strictest abortion laws in the nation, which would outlaw abortions after 6 weeks. For women here on the podium and on the riser, it boils down to just one thing: autonomy over their own bodies.
Tonight, we've spoken and we stand here united as Ohioans in a historic victory. Across the state, we're going to bed knowing that we own our own bodies.
All right, the vote total's not final, but as you guys mentioned, about 55% voting in favor of Issue 1. That is below 60%. Interesting to note, 60% is the threshold that Republicans and other state leaders were pushing with the amendment they had on the ballot in the special election in August. That was soundly defeated leading up to tonight's vote, as the abortion issue is now enshrined in the state constitution. I also spoke with the head of the state Democratic Party. She says this definitely gives the Democratic Party momentum, and says it shows that voters are much more interested in issues affecting their lives and their pocketbooks than other hot-button emotional issues. Much more coming up, but for now, live on your side in downtown Columbus, I'm Tom Bosco. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Tom. And we're also following results from Issue 2, which would legalize recreational marijuana in the state, allowing Ohioans to use, buy, sell, and grow it. And the Associated Press also projecting that Issue 2 will pass. Kate Seifert following this race for us. Live downtown tonight. Kate?
Hey, Bob. Yeah, a different look than where you just saw our Tom Bosco. There was a small gathering here at the Athletic Club in downtown Columbus, but it wasn't necessarily a watch party. It was a gathering of those spokespeople of Issue 2, those proponents of Issue 2, waiting for those results to come in. And I know they're unofficial, but it looks that Issue 2 will pass here in Ohio. Let's go over what it would mean for our state. We've gone over this many times before. It would legalize the possession, the purchase, and the growing of marijuana here in Ohio. Now, we have been covering all sides of this story. Tonight was no different, hearing from both sides. You're going to hear from two separate people here coming up in a moment. The first is a Columbus pastor. He says he's feeling discouraged this evening about these election results, but focused on how he can continue to serve his community, but he's worried about the impact marijuana will have. We also hear from the proponent, a spokesperson from the Coalition to Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol here in the state of Ohio. I asked him about that 10% tax marijuana would have here in our state and how that tax revenue would be used. Here's both sides.
This is money, again, that we're taking out of the illicit market, that we're taking back from the state of Michigan, and we're going to invest it right back into Ohio communities.
It's a little dimmer, but yet we're going to continue to do the work in the ministry that we were doing the day before the election, and that is to help people fight through their day-to-day struggles, including drug addictions.
Now, something important we do want you to remember is that issue 2 is a state law. It's not a constitutional amendment, which would mean the legislature down at the State House, just a couple blocks from where I'm standing right now, would have the ability to either tweak it or they could potentially kill it altogether. This is obviously something we're going to be keeping our eye on, connecting with those folks down at the State House to see what their next steps might be when it comes to issue 2. We'll, of course, keep you updated on official results still coming in. It looks like issue 2 will pass here in Ohio. Live on your side at the Athletic Club of Columbus, I'm Kate Seifert, ABC 6 News.
Kate, thank you. Let's take a look at how issue 2 is playing out across the state at this hour. So here we have a map of the state of Ohio. You can see the results so far, but when we break it down by county, you can see how things are playing out. In Franklin County, legalizing marijuana, recreational marijuana, you can see the yeses, 68.6%. 31.4% voting no. And we head up to Union County, for example, a little closer here in this area, 51.9%, 48.1% voting no. And take it up here to Cuyahoga County, 64.6% voting yes. When we look at issue 1 and how issue 1 is playing out throughout the state, when we look at overall, you can see 55.7% to 44.4%. This is live results happening right here. Let's start in Cuyahoga County. 76.1% voting yes. Down here to Franklin County, 74.3% voting yes. And down here in Cincinnati, in Hamilton County, 68.2% voting yes. So you can see how things are playing out across the state as results still are coming in. But again, both of these issues are believed to have been passed, according to the Associated Press. Bob?
All right, Stacia, thanks. And sitting down with our election analysts tonight, joining us, Will Hinman, who is the co-founder and the partner at Bowers Hinman Capital Affairs, and Catherine Terser, the executive director for Common Cause Ohio. Welcome to both of you. So let's start with you, Catherine, here tonight, the message that Ohioans are sending on issue 1.
So I think what's really clear is that folks appreciate the bodily autonomy of women, and also that they were thinking really carefully about what it meant to protect reproductive rights. They were focusing, on thinking about folks that have miscarriages, and they were thinking about people that needed in vitro fertilization. So I think, I watched this one closely, like most people. I know with citizen initiatives, only about 27% of them have passed, since 1913, when we first had the right to do this. So I did watch it, wondering whether this would be successful. And what's wonderful is that at this point, Ohioans have spoken. I'm looking forward to getting the final results, because I always want to make sure all the votes are counted properly. But I think this was a good day.
Well, what do you think for conservatives? Was it an overreach?
Well, issue 1 provided voters with a binary choice, and I think the fact is that people's views on abortion are much more nuanced than that. And so I think, when you talk about specifically when it is appropriate in the term of an abortion or in the term of a pregnancy to have an abortion, that's something that Republicans can now look to and potentially make some tweaks here going forward. Obviously, that's going to be difficult now that this is enshrined in the Constitution.
Sure. Look at issue 2. It also appears to be passing. AP has already called the legalization of recreational marijuana. Interesting to see that both the abortion rights amendment and the legalization of marijuana getting about the same amount of votes tonight. Did that sort of transcend party lines, do you think?
I think it did. I think one telling piece here is that the issue 2 campaign spent far less than the issue 1 campaign. And so there was, I think, probably 3 or 4 times as much money going behind pro issue 1 advertising and outreach to voters, whereas issue 2 didn't seem to really draw as much attention and draw as much controversy, was able to get passed without all of that, all of those resources behind it.
Catherine, thoughts on that?
Well, and I do think Ohio tends to be kind of in the middle of the pack. We are the 24th state to approve the legalization of marijuana. So once again, kind of middle of the pack. So goes Ohio, so goes the country. And I think the fact, just like you were talking about, issue one everyone was paying attention to. And of course, controversial, people really had a lot invested and a lot of feelings about it. And issue 2 kind of slid under the radar, but it wouldn't have slid under the radar a few years ago. Yeah. We were just ripe to make this change.
All right. Catherine, Will, thanks so much for joining us. We'll check back in here with you in just a couple of minutes. Thank you. Now, Stacia, back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you so much. We're going to go now to some of the other big local matters on the ballot tonight, like the mayoral race in Columbus. Incumbent Mayor Andrew Ginther looking to get a third term, challenged by community activist Joe Motiel. Let's send things out to Isabel Hanson, now live in Franklinton. Isabel, are we expecting to hear from the mayor soon?
Declared victory moments ago. He says his heart's full of gratitude tonight. He also thanked poll workers for their work today. Hundreds of people are in this ballroom this evening. They're cheering, they're yelling, they're clapping for Mayor Ginther. We also heard from city council members, Columbus City School Board members. You can feel the energy in the room. They tell me that they're excited about the way that the results are turning out tonight. This is the Franklin County Democratic Party watch party that we're at. I also spoke with Mayor Ginther's opponent, Joe Motiel, earlier today outside a polling location. We have another crew with Motiel tonight, and we'll hear from him at some point. But Ginther tells me the city's seen success under his past 8 years of leadership. He says his leadership created the fastest growing economy in the Midwest. Ginther also points to what he calls signs of progress in their work towards a safer city, investing in prevention, intervention, and enforcement. As for Motiel, he tells me he would have put people over profits. Ginther also says that he's thankful for the people of Columbus who showed up today and used their voices. Live on your side, I'm Isabel Hanson, Fox 28 News.
All right, thank you, Isabel. And another local matter on the ballots here tonight, very important one, is the massive Columbus City Schools levy, one of several levies on the ballot. This one totaling nearly $100 million annually. Let's get over to Lisa Rontola, who's followed this every step of the way right now and, of course, is following the results closely tonight. Lisa, what do you see?
Well, Bob, I can tell you, prior to election night, Columbus City Schools Board of Education told me polling for this levy was going to be tight. When we first started to see those election results tonight, that is what we saw. But at last check, it looks like 91% of the precincts in Franklin County have been reporting, and it looks like the levy is taking it away with 55% of the vote. Now, Columbus City Schools said they were strategic and went for an all or nothing tonight with their levy. They combined a permanent improvements and operating levy to generate $100 million in new dollars per year. The breakdown: $40 million toward operations like salaries, $60 million to maintain its 112 school buildings. They faced great opposition from the Columbus chapter of the NAACP, who said the taxpayer cost of $270 for every $100,000 your home is worth will tax some people out of their homes and out of this district. School Board President Jennifer Adair took the podium about an hour or two ago after winning her re-election, and this is what she said.
I personally look forward to continuing to serve so that we can make that radical transformation that we know we need for our children and really improve what we are doing here in this city. Without public education, we do not have democracy.
We've got to all band together. It is our school district. The board has not been transparent. We've got to do something about this board.
And if the CCS levy does pass tonight, CCS says they'll be able to keep more than 600 positions that they call necessary for student performance. They said they need those positions to help boost their grading on the state report card. We're also looking at a series of other school levy races tonight. The Dublin City School operating levy, also the renewal levies in Canal Winchester and Groveport Madison. While those also look to be tight tonight, it does look like all of the levy races, voters are supporting them tonight. For now, reporting live, I'm Lisa Rontola. Back to you.
Lisa Rondola live for us. Thank you so much. Now, as results come in, we will continue to post those to our Fox 28 app. You can download it, and we'll send those live numbers straight to your phone. We'll also be posting our full coverage on myfox28columbus.com.